Hello everyone, this is White Wolf. I hope everyone is doing well. And as we're starting this live feed, I wanted to talk about reinventing ourselves. We're always reinventing ourselves because we always have to find new ways and strategies to revitalize our intentions, to revitalize our affirmations, to reinforce what we need to really do in our lives, and also keep ourselves grounded and focused and aligned towards the goal or the vision or the intention or what we're trying to bring forth within this creation. So it's kind of repositioning how we think about ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, how we develop our sense of knowing and our sense of being and our sense of rediscovering ourselves, and also finding out more ways to heal and to really collect that spiritual mass within ourselves so that we can really have discernment within ourselves. When we have discernment within ourselves, we are always in the state of reinventing ourselves, reinventing our heart, our mind, our body, our spirits. And every time that we do that, we're building a new foundation and collapsing timelines, and also allowing ourselves to redefine what our personality is. When we redefine what our personality is, then we're not having a personal identification of what we think we are. Instead, we're trying to discover and know who we are, and know that we have it, and know that we're just developing and empowering from our own standpoint, so we can really reposition and realign the understanding that we are here, that we are now, that we are trying to rediscover the message that resounds in our hearts, but also the vision that we have of ourselves. So when we change the vision, the intention, the idea, and when we change the flavor of what we're experiencing, then we understand that we don't have to understand everything here and now. We don't have to understand everything in our lives. And it's understanding that when you choose to reinvent yourself, you're choosing your empowerment, you're choosing your development, you're choosing to purify your skills and your abilities and the way that you act and the way that you go about life, because you're repositioning the positionless and the omnipresent of that nature, of that electromagnetic kinetic source energy field that will activate that purification within yourself. So rediscovering ourselves is finding ourselves. It's finding that inner child that resounds in our heart. And it's rediscovering the things that make us happy, the things that make us joyous, the things that really empower our relationships, but the things that really make sense in our reality. And the illusion is the illusion, but we have to change the simulation of it. It's all about how you delve deep inside of yourself to change the illusion and change the attachment or the form of that illusion, and change how you detach from it so that you're mass producing your own illusion, so that you're generating a different simulation, which is generating a new absolute timeline reality and changing the course of the space-time continuum. So when we're rediscovering ourselves and reinventing ourselves, it means we're actually healing, and we're actually imparting change, and we're actually implementing it, and we're trying to become it. It doesn't mean that we're spiritually bypassing. It doesn't mean that we're going this way or that way or doing this thing because this thing doesn't work. But we're really finding ourselves. We're fine-tuning our skills. We're trying to reposition how we feel emotionally, how we think, how we perceive, how we have these certain patterns, but we change our patterns to have different combinations. Understanding that, we'll see that if I change this pattern, it gives me a different combination. It gives me a different breadcrumb trail of excitement. It gives me a way that I can see more clearly from the vantage point, because I'm choosing to let go of that form and that identity of that said reality. So it's just letting the message resound in your heart, letting the message become who you are, and allowing the vision to become everything that you are. Reinvention is revitalizing the intention. The intention has the drive and the motivation. And then when you have the motivation, you have the sense of empowerment of living your life every day, no matter what circumstances arises. Having a really good back towards everything. Having a really good reinforcement. of everything that you're trying to tap into. So every time that you reinvent yourself, you're rediscovering yourself. You're knowing yourself, and you're having clear, precise acceptance of the higher self and of yourself, coming back into balance with your higher self. So yes, we have an identity of ourselves, of who we think we are, of what we think we are, but do we really know who we are at the end of the day? We're always rediscovering that. We're always trying to find what that is. We're always trying to find what that is because we know that if we look for it, that if we go for it, that if we really push it very far and push ourselves past our comfort zone and not leave any boundaries. Implementing boundaries and not leaving any boundaries within yourself are two totally different things. You can't see yourself as an obstacle or a boundary or a limitation when we're reinventing ourselves. And in the midst of that, it might feel a little bit negative when you're reinventing yourself or finding yourself or rediscovering yourself. But it ultimately leads to those peak moments, to those quantum leaps, to those ways that you ascend and transcend every conditioning that we have on this earth plane. So it's not about figuring it out. It's not about understanding everything. It's not about really wanting to figure it out all right now, but it's enjoying the coasting of it, enjoying the ride. You don't have to enunciate every word like I just destroyed that word. It's not perfect, it's not flawless, but that's the point of it, is that it keeps us humble, it keeps us grounded, it keeps us centered when we choose to reinvent ourselves. And I can tell you countless and countless and countless and countless of times where I've had to reinvent myself. I had to keep doing it again. I had to look for a new perspective. I had to look for another reason to live. I had to look at myself in a much different light. I had to face myself. I had to look at this dark thing, and I had to look at this past lifetime. And I had to keep repositioning my stance. And I had to keep reinventing myself. And I had to do it over and over, and it feels like you're always chiseling yourself. And it feels like you're just hitting the hammer every single day within yourself. And it feels like you're just chiseling away what doesn't need to be there, so that it is a preferred product. It is a finished product, but we're never really finished. That might be the finishing touch for that certain configuration, but it doesn't mean you're ultimately a finished product. It just means that you're under construction, always. This really allows us to know that we're under construction, that we're always being purified, we're always being cleared of something, and something in our reality is always trying to humble us. And one thing that comes to mind, and my guides were just telling me this, was always thinking back to your humble beginnings. Remember your humble beginnings. And I was just thinking of when I first started, and I was kind of having some self-reflection this morning about where I came from where I am now. It's completely different. It doesn't always feel different. It doesn't always feel like it's completely different, but it's completely different from who you once were. And seeing it through the rearview mirror and seeing that you're never going to go back to that you're never going to have to see that life again. You're never going to have to see that pain or that suffering or that unworthiness ever again, or those past traumas ever again. And you're not looking at the rearview mirror, but you're looking at the rearview mirror to look back and just say that I forgive and forget it, and that I can move on. So when we have reflection in spirituality and meditation, it's not reflection like everybody else thinks of it, or self-reflection, or reflecting on the past. But it's really understanding how it really was, how reality really was, and how we had a role in our own pain and suffering and our learning and our progressing. Because you can look back in your own life and see where God was, and see where Source was, and see where Source protected you. Because I can tell you, I've been in 2 car wrecks in the same day and not a scratch on me. So we can see where grace is given to us. And we can see where we're not so graceful in certain moments, where maybe you were hard-headed, or maybe you were ungrateful about something, or not so gracious, or anger. All of it is of God. God made everything so that we were able to experience it, so that we can have a grounded level of understanding and wisdom and unity and balance within ourselves, within our emotional guidance system, but also within how we view life, how we view our energy, so that we can collapse those timelines and finally see that we are the gateway within ourselves. That source gives us the power so that we can align to our chakras, which are gateways, and that we can collapse timelines so that every timeline is parallel. And then we can tap into simultaneity because we're living in the past, future, present, here and now. And then we see that we can literally put everything inside of our vortex and know that it's there, until we become that electromagnetic kinetic source energy field of that vortex. Meaning that you're generating the pulse, the electricity, but you're connected to the motherboard of creation. So it's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen that movie Spider-Man 2, where it had that villain who had the metal tentacles. But we're like that, but not the villain, but we have those streams of consciousness going through us all the time, and we're just trying to come back to that connection, to our guides, our past realities, our past lifetimes that were of a good nature, but also being connected to source, being connected to the earth, being connected in all ways to no end. That means that the circuitry and the wiring is back into balance. So it's kind of like I made that example, which wasn't a great example, of Dr. Octopus. I couldn't believe I couldn't remember what his name was. I think that's what his name is. But we don't have tentacles, but we have streams of light going through us, going through our heart, through our minds, through here, here. And it's just being reinforced and connected to the motherboard of creation, so that we allow ourselves to see that there is a way that we can change the scales once again in our favor. The scales are being tipped already. The scales are being worked in our favor, and that's why a lot of us are awakening and coming back into balance, knowing ourselves once again. But we really don't know ourselves, and we think we always know everything. We think we know everything, and then we get reflected something else, and we kind of don't, right? It's just the nature of it. Because I'm like the most hard-headed person there is. But God loves the really hard-headed and the bold, and He loves the ones that go through it, because those are the truest ones to deliver the wisdom and teach and be of a loving essence. He loves the ones that go through the lessons and the catalysts and the changes. And being fast-tracked is painful. I can just tell you that right now. Being fast-tracked on the spiritual journey is very painful. It's not very fun. It's not very appetizing. It's not very fun because sometimes it's not fun, but it's fun when you get past it, because then there's that sense of like, you're up, you're here, you're now, you're fully exhilarating, and you're just in your purified state, and you're just in your truth and your vibration. But then there needs to be balance, and there needs to be a reconfiguration and deconstructing old energy. So we can't look at ourselves like a finished product. But we're going to do, I was wondering if I needed to do some healing energy. Yeah, we're going to do some healing energy. I do meditations and I do healing energy, so I pick the times in the day where I feel like a meditation and then I do a healing or something like that. So we're going to be doing some healing energy. And also, guys, I'd like to let you know, around 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern tonight, I'm going to be going live doing readings, healings, activations, $15 donations for readings. And also, if you want to book a private session, it's $200 for an hour and $300 for 2 hours. I forgot my own prices for a moment. So around 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing psychic readings, and they're only $15 donations. Receive a heart activation. And let's activate the mind-body-spirit complex and connect to the motherboard of creation. So streams of light going through our bodies and allowing ourselves to be the vortex of consciousness and allowing ourselves to embody the electromagnetic kinetic source energy field. Tapping in and grounding deep within Middle Mother Gaia Earth, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Raphael, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, the Intergalactic Council, the Galactic Federation of Light, my 6 dragons, and Grandmother and the tribal women are here as well. Archangels love and light who's willing to cleanse us of our auric field. And we also have some guides coming in, the Source Dragon, helping us tap into the sensations of God, the vibrations of God, and the emulation and the transfiguration of the soul. We also have the Apostle Paul coming in with this purple ray of healing, recalibrating all of our chakras. And Jesus is putting a rainbow energy of protection around us, so activating psychic protection as well. And we're just going to tap into the energies of the 10th dimension as well. Allow the truth to resound in your heart. Allow the truth to be what it really is. Allow yourself to embrace the illusion, which is embracing your own manifested illusion and really generating a different simulation within your reality. And as we reinvent ourselves and redirect our focus, redirect our message, and redirect how we are able to just be that push, to be that nudge, to be that guidance, to be that love within ourselves, and to really allow ourselves to enjoy life as it is, to be love, to be happy, to be fulfilled, and to be spiritually alive. And when we allow ourselves to do this, we allow ourselves to bridge the gap. We allow ourselves to be that sacred flame of creation. And then the particle accelerator allows us to literally mass produce our spiritual origination, but also the consciousness of everything. And then we develop a new sense of continuity and consecration within ourselves. That we can generate worlds into existence. And if we generate worlds into existence, then we are the existence that generates worlds. And just allow ourselves to send out those codes, those frequencies, those downloads, those light codes. Open up, breathe and receive, and let's allow ourselves to encompass our fullest vibration here and now, and allow yourself to become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, which is God manifested in human form. And so it is. Take one last deep breath. And so it is. And that was the healing energy. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for stopping by. And also, guys, I'm going to be going live at 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern time zone, Monday through Friday, doing readings, healings, activations for $15 donations. I hope to see you guys there. And I hope that you guys really enjoyed the live. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. And book private sessions as well. It's 1 hour for $200 and 1 hour for $200 and 2 hours for $300. I can't even remember my own prices. I don't know why. That's one thing I've been doing today. I'm like, I was even thinking about it before my live. I was like, what are my prices again? And also, just don't be afraid to enjoy life. Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. Don't be afraid to change it up. Don't be afraid to change up the routine. When you allow yourself to do that, you allow yourself to be present with everything. So thank you, God bless, and namaste.